Lights in the distance, a forgotten town. No, I'm on my way. Oh, I'm on my way. So stand on the edge of the world with me.
Hello. Happy Wednesday, everyone. How are we all doing? We doing good? Welcome to Myles Dyer Live, where every week we hang out right here on YouTube, youtube.com/Myles. It is Wednesday, the 22nd of January, 2025. Can you believe it? We've only got one more show for the month, the first month of 2025. And I don't know about you, the amount of people I know on both sides of the Atlantic, across Europe, who've been getting unwell. I mean, there's always a lot of illness at the start of the year, but there's been a huge amount going around. And at first, it was a lot of colleagues of mine who were at CES, so conventions, nice breeding grounds for illness. But also, like, the weather's just been super cold in places, obviously super hot in other places as well. Canactune says minus 17 degrees Celsius in Ottawa. A colleague of mine said it was like minus 21. And I was like, what, Fahrenheit? Actually, no, it wouldn't be Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit would be worse, right? But yeah, in Celsius. And I thought, is that really a thing? But then, of course. But look, I'm not taking away from the fact that minus 17 degrees centigrade is super cold. But I do find that, like, once you hit minus 5, anything below that, it's just more cold. It's all just cold, right? But yeah, minus 17 is pretty cold. Just want to say a massive hello to everyone I can see in the live chat. Canactunes, of course. Shapeshifter, the Anomaly Game Cat, David VR, Kiro Array. Good to see here. Salvador, Kira Cat Lady, Agramonia, and Mojo said might not be able to make the live show, but we'll watch on replay. So hello to you, Mojo, and anyone else that's watching on replay. Always appreciate you. And Clem Fandango is here as well. Do hit the like button. It just helps warm up the algorithm, letting other people know. It's actually the first week where I've actually not tweeted about this or anything. I've been pretty disorganized. Just going to give a disclaimer. I am super low energy. I know I've said that. I did it last week. Last week we did a show on learning to say no, and then the week before that, I took the week off because I was feeling rough. I am just so run down at the moment, and it's not with like illness. Well, I mean it is illness, but like I haven't got a running nose. I haven't got a sore throat. I haven't got headaches. I'm just low energy. Super low energy. But I am kind of looking forward to today's show because it's an interesting topic, all about stand-up comedy, and the fact that I am in the process of writing a stand-up routine, which, I kid you not, I did 2 o'clock in the morning in a hotel room in Manchester on Saturday night, which I'll get to in just a moment, because I went to see Manchester United play. For those that don't follow soccer, Manchester United are one of the world's most famous football teams, soccer teams. And I've never seen a Premier League football match before. And to go to Old Trafford with my best friend who organised it all, Hugh, it was a really awesome time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And then what does that have to do with stand-up comedy? Well, I will get to that as well. But first of all, a bit of housekeeping. If you like the music that you hear on the intro. You can check it out on Spotify. Just search Myles Dyer Live Music. I do need to start going through my Monster Cat catalogue and start adding some new tunes in here. But the reality is, you know, there are just so many bangers on here that I just love bringing back to the forefront every week. If you like the people that you see in the chat, there's a few nice people in the chat, I suppose. Join Empathy Arcade Discord. Use the QR code, or the link is in the description below. You can support the channel by becoming a member for just a few dollars a month. You unlock emojis and badges next to your name. Have a merch store, questforempathy.com. Always appreciate people that buy stuff on there. If you have bought something and haven't received a personal video message from me, do chase me up. But I do believe I've caught up with that. And Let's Plays. I was so looking forward to getting back into the rhythm of this. And, I did Arcane Age last Friday. But yeah, with my energy levels so low, I've actually been sleeping a lot, but clearly not enough. But something that I've been having issues with is, you know, that sometimes when I've done my Let's Plays, some of you will know if you tune into it, that my microphone cancels off straight away. I got a new adapter because it's a USB port, but then you can get these nice devices which turns USB into USB-C. Let me turn it around like that. And these Anchor ones are really, really good. And so I actually used this on my last live stream. Now, it could be a coincidence that it just happened to work, but I have a feeling that maybe this will be a big improvement for my issues. Because if so, I can have peace of mind, because it's the one thing that makes me nervous when I'm doing my live shows. Because look, live shows, anything could happen. Something could go horribly wrong here, and we move on. But I always try with my live shows, I always think about them from the perspective of, what if I was watching this on replay? Like, if I was watching this just as a video. And so I like to make things quite streamlined. And it's why when I do my Let's Plays, it starts off with the live stream with the trailer of the game. So it's like, bam! This is the game. This is how they're pitching it. This is what it's going to, be. And then as soon as that finishes, I'm in position. Hey, everyone. Welcome to a Let's Play. I do the introduction. And then we just jump straight into the game. But when you're wearing a headset and you're a bit far away, and then it cuts out with the sound. And then there's a delay from hearing the chat telling me. And then when the chat tell me and I'm like, oh, the sound's not working. They can't hear me. They're obviously keep telling me, and so I'm just like trying to fix it as I'm having all these robotic voices in my head reading the chat saying it's not working, and in my head I'm like, I know it's not working, and it's always a horrible way to start. We've got a few more people joining the chat. I want to say massive hello to Heather. Good to see you here, Heather. We got Dan Kiefer. Dan says, hey Myles, I'm trying something new with my life too. You got balls, bro. You got balls. I want to know what you're trying, Dan. What are you trying? Karina says, hello, Karina. Nice to have you here. Used to work at Man United in one of their 4-star suites when Ronaldo was there. Needless to say, was getting tons of tips as they were winning 24/7. That is awesome. Dan says, sleep, what is that? Yeah, I know the feeling. And hey, Dominic, good to see you here. Shapeshifter. Dino, the middle-aged mutant ninja game cat. I love these names. I love the game cat community. You're awesome. Mason says, how was your trip? I saw the pics on Instagram. I am actually going to do a proper Instagram post of it. I was just posting it on my story. Let me tell you a bit about it now. Should we do that? But before I do that, let's get a bit more of the chill music in the background. My best friend Hugh, he's a member of Man United Football Club. I don't know if that comes in different tiers and that. And he's gone a few times and said, should we go? And I was like, be up for it. And so he drove us up on the Saturday, got to a really nice hotel, and then went out for food at BrewDog. And actually, I don't know, I didn't actually get it off my phone. Let me see if I can do this. This is just giving free promo to BrewDog. But BrewDog, they had a really interesting deal on their menu, which was this. Let me show it. I love we've not even got to the football yet. I always got to talk about food. They go, win a free dessert for your table. Challenge your server to a game of rock, paper, scissors. If you win, it's on the house. there you go. I went to the terms and conditions, and it didn't work. So I was like asking him, going, "Is this real?" And while we had plates in one hand, he did it with the other, and we said best out of 3. And he beat me on both. Funnily enough, I was saying to my best friend how no one ever does paper right. And I did scissors twice, and he did rock twice. So if I just done paper. But then he followed up, yeah, I was worried that what you do is you say, he says you have to get the dessert if you lose. I was like, well, yeah, I want the dessert. But I thought he meant that, you pay for the dessert and you don't get it, so it's a bit of a gamble. But no, it just means you have to pay for it, which is cool. Nick says, "Oh, I would get a free dessert. I'm pro rock paper scissors." Here we go. What's the strategy? Well, this is what I got. It was called like Death by Chocolate. Look at Oreos are in everything these days. Didn't finish it all. Had a lot. It was tasty. It was tasty. It was really good. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about though, right? So it was in Manchester. Went down to Old Trafford, and what's amazing is as you're walking down to it, all down the left, you've got all these people that live here on this street, and like you can see that little red tent, that red tent on the left-hand side, that's in someone's front garden, and I'm curious to know, like, it makes sense, if you live there, you can make some good business selling memorabilia. So went down there. And it was Man United versus Brighton, as you can see from the half and half scarves that are sold in the bottom left corner. So yeah. So then got to Old Trafford there. And in the stadium, all the way back here. But I have to say, like, again, as not a major football fan, it was incredible being there and to see the full pitch and also see, like, the distribution of players on the pitch when the ball is, like, getting kicked out of a goal kick. Things you wouldn't normally notice on television because obviously it's honed in and stuff. It was really cool and made me have a greater appreciation. And here's me and Hugh. And for those that don't know, Hugh was the guitarist and music writer for Schemata Theory. So yeah, we had that. He even took a picture of a panoramic shot. I tell you what, the chairs are really close to each other. And there was a guy behind us the entire match that just kept on going, "Yeah, you're all wank. It's all wank they are. They're all shit. They're wank." Just like every pass. And it was one of the worst Manchester United performances in a long while. So much so that, like, before the match was even over, like, look how much the chairs have emptied. I mean, it was in injury time and stuff like that. But everyone just, like, kind of had enough. I think it was 4-1, or was it 3-1? It was 3-1, I think. One of the goals didn't get allowed. Yeah, people were not happy. I think even the manager came out and said it may be one of the worst Manchester United teams in history. And I took some video. I think this is when it was going to become a penalty or it was cancelled. I was constantly trying to film stuff going like, let's get a goal. And then when it was a penalty, that was the safest time to record it. But yeah, it was really, really good. But the nice thing was I wanted to get some memorabilia. So I bought a shirt and an official shirt. And then you could pay to get your name and number on it. I know, Karina. Lucky me, witnessing history. And I've got it here. So the authentic shirts are normally £110. So these are the shirts the teams actually wear. So normally £110, but it was like 40% off. So I got it for like £65. And then you could pay extra to get, the stickers on the sleeve. Oh, even no room for racism. And then on the back, ta-da! My date of birth and the name there. So Dyer 87. So whether I'm going to wear this or not, I don't know. But yeah, Yeah, I'm going to wear it for an Instagram post at the weekend and then post about it because it was a really good time. Really, really good time. And very grateful for Hugh for taking me. But unsubscribing, yucky Man U shirt. Man U are a very special team. I mean, as I said, I'm not a football fan. I don't watch it a lot. I watch the occasional match, watch the internationals. But yeah, we got up there in about 3.5 hours. The journey back was brutal. And again, much love for Hugh who drove. It was like a 6-hour journey back. It was harsh. You went to the Grand Prix in Monaco, and you don't even like racing. Grand Prix in Mexico, the Grand Prix in Monaco is excellent because it's all just like round the harbour, and it's like all down just roads and that. Although there's not a lot of overtaking on it because it's all super, super narrow, but it's a cool place to be. Soccer, football, hand egg, foot egg, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, what has any of this got to do with stand-up comedy? And in many ways, it doesn't have a lot to do with with stand-up comedy. Everyone's getting precious on the language. Well, going to a Premier League football match is something on my bucket list. Something I've always wanted to do, which is, go see players at the top of their game. Arguably wasn't so much at this match, which was disappointing. It would have been cool to, be at a match where the audience was much more electrifying. It was just a depressing atmosphere where we were. And so I was thinking about other things on my bucket list. And this is a year where I definitely want to try new things, have more of a social life, make more time for me. And something I've always had on my bucket list, and this could have been an episode about bucket list, but I thought let's just hone in on this one thing. And Chris says, are you about to tell us you're dying? I am not, although I feel like death at the moment. But no, not that. But on my bucket list is to do stand-up comedy. And by that, I don't mean do a full show. I mean just take part in the act of stand-up comedy. So that could literally be going to an open mic night and doing 3 minutes or 2 minutes or however many it is. And I was thinking about it, and then I've been spending a lot of my free time, limited free time this past week, going on Meta Horizon Worlds on the Quest, where they have all these different worlds, and they have one called the Soapstone Comedy Club. Now, this is a comedy club in the Metaverse on Horizon, where you go to this comedy club. There's a stage. Not anyone can run on it. And you can sign up for one of 3 roles. You can either be a producer. I don't know exactly what the producer does, but I know that they can do the sound of like the why am I saying that when I've got it here? You could do the sound of when someone tells a joke, but for that you have to spend 90 minutes in the main court area or behind the bar where drinks are served. So you have to actually do your time. You can be a host. But for that, you have to do 90 minutes on stage in total. And to be a host, you basically introduce people onto the stage and help people as they, do stand-up and things like that. And one of the hosts I met when I was there, reminding you this is in the Metaverse, they actually do stand-up comedy in their own time. So it was kind of interesting. And then the third thing you can do is be a performer. So you click your name and then you're put on a list. And I think you get 3-minute segments, and then you go on the stage and people can applaud you, click applause buttons, which gets you on high scores and stuff. And it's a way to try out stand-up. Now, for me, I've gone on stage a couple of times and I've put an old man's voice on, and I think I've got a dinosaur costume now in the Metaverse. So I was telling dinosaur jokes. You can imagine me telling jokes like, what do you call a blind dinosaur? Do you think he saw us? Just really, really, really rubbish stuff like that. But I went away thinking this would actually be a really good way to hone my craft as doing stand-up. Because if I were to try some stuff there, I don't know if the atmosphere is right for it. At least with getting the flow. And what's great is you know, with things like this is there are different instances. So you could do a few minutes of stand-up comedy on the stage, and then once you've done it, you can switch your instance. So you go to another version of that stand-up club, but with a whole new audience. And then you can line up for that, do it there, and just keep trying it and refining your craft. And so as I was thinking about it, I think it was actually when I was on stage one of the times, I was trying to think of funny stories, and there was one that came to mind, which was someone I went to school with who, I'm not going to go into it now. I mean, I could go through what I've written, but I kind of feel like maybe I should save it for a time where I actually present it to you all for the first time. But yeah, and so without wanting to wake up Hugh, who I was sharing a room with, under the covers, I had my phone out and I just wrote out this story and just thought about different quips. And one of my favourite comedians is Bill Burr. And what I love about Bill Burr is how he really calls out the absurdities of things, which a lot of comedians does. But he does a really cool power play where he's very self-deprecating, and he can be making fun of people whilst building them up. And so that was something that I thought about. So I've written maybe 1 to 2 minutes, and I'm not entirely happy with it. And so what I wanted to talk about on this show was basically what people like in stand-up comics. Has anyone here done stand-up comedy? And then, like, how do you even practice stand-up comedy? Like, what is the process? Because I've done some research on it and I found some things which I'm going to go through. But before I go through all that, I think it makes sense that I show you. And hello to everyone who's just joining. I hope you're doing good. I may as well show you. Is this going to switch? This is the trailer. Oh my goodness, it's not going to let me play the audio. Okay, I need to set this up next time I come on. So I'll show it without the audio. But this is the venue. So you start here, Soapstone Comedy Club. We'll bring it up fully. And there's house rules. And so on the top, you've got the producers that are looking over it. But they also do comedy nights where they actually get professional comedians in. Now, I don't know if they do it live. I assume it's pre-recorded. But yeah, you do your comedy. Is it just going to show him? And this is the thing, people, is if you don't... I just forgot about this. Every one of you could actually come to me doing stand-up comedy because you can play it on your mobile. So get the Meta Horizon app and you can go into Horizon Worlds. Not all worlds, but you can go into this one on your phone. So we could always do that. But yeah, they got 6 of the world's best comedians. I have to say, only a few of them I recognise. And yeah, they have their performances there. And I'm curious to know how many people can be there at any one time. But yeah, they do these nights. And yeah, it does. It reminds you of the comedy stuff in GTA 4, yeah. And Rec Cream used to do them as well. But this has got a really cool system because it also has a leaderboard of like who's had the most applause. That on the side of the stage there. So yeah, really, really cool. So Siago goes, what a cool way to practice, get over the idea of doing it though. Stage fright, social anxiety, got to be way less in VR. Yeah, so I'm curious to know. Karina says George Carlin, yeah, absolute legend when it comes to stand-up comedy. Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, these people, they are just complete energy and just can like become things. It's pretty incredible. Get ready to be shocked. Bill Burr is Billy Corgan's half brother. That can't be true. Doesn't Billy Corgan says, oh wow, this was only today. Look at this though. I love that this is with the direction we've gone with this. Bill Burr fumes after being tricked into meeting Billy Corgan over half-brother rumours. The musician and comedian met for the first time months after Corgan claimed they may be related. Mandel decided to surprise Burr by inviting Corgan to meet him during a podcast recording yesterday, but the family reunion got off to an awkward start as Burr shook hands with Corgan before turning to Mandel and saying, "You're an a-hole." After Corgan said Mandel had told him the 56-year-old comedian would be totally cool with their meeting, Mandel admitted he hadn't told Burr and thought it'd be a good surprise. Burr then asked if the segment could be edited out before saying F it and agreeing to go along with it. He then turned to Corgan and asked, "Did you ever think the fact that I never told that story that maybe you shouldn't?" After Mandel recapped the speculation that the two may share a father, Burr said he was a piece of he had two kids this close together and he gave them the same effing name. Referring to Corgan, Burr added, "It's not that I don't like him, it reminds me of all that shit." Corgan attempted to lighten the mood by saying, "The fact that he said he can't sing, I think disproves that we're related because I'm not funny, so it goes both ways." Wow, I'm going to definitely be reading up on this. That's pretty wild. Shapeshift says, "I did a quick tour of Horizon Worlds, but wasn't tempted to dive back in again yet." Well, there are a few modes on it that I love, and to be honest, after this, I might jump on. We were going to do it. Was it last week or was it a different game? I think we were going to do it last week, but no one. I didn't see anyone else jump in with me. Yeah. There's a few shooters that are really, really good. Luke says Robin Williams live is the hardest I've ever rapped in my life. As a teenager, hearing Mrs. Doubtfire swear was pretty awesome. They need to do a DNA test. That's wild. Lee Evans was great. So, stand-up comedy. Who here in the chat has done stand-up comedy before? So I was looking at online, I wrote some notes here of how to get good at stand-up comedy if you've never done it before. And I've got a list here. I'm just going to go through it, right? So, this is how to practice before doing an open mic night, okay? So firstly, you start by reading it aloud. Slowly. So read through the set out loud at a slow pace. Focus on clear pronunciation and understanding where the natural pauses are. This will help you get familiar with the structure before trying to perform it. Dan says, "I've been laughed at while fighting drunk." Does that count? Well, if it was on stage and you had a microphone in your hand, I'd say so. Second is then record yourself. Here we go. Scott says, "Well, I haven't done any stand-up, but every time I stand up, everybody laughs." Whee. So start reading out aloud slowly, then record yourself audio first. So use your phone or voice recorder and record yourself reading the routine. Don't worry about making it perfect, just try hearing how it sounds. Play it back and listen for pacing issues. Are you rushing certain parts? Are some jokes getting lost? Then break it into sections and rehearse in chunks. So split the routine into short sections and rehearse each section separately until you feel confident, then stitch them together. Step 4, add natural cadence and emphasis. So comedy isn't just about what you say, obviously it's how you say it. So try emphasizing certain words or phrases. Experiment with pauses before and after punchlines. Silence builds tension and makes punchlines land harder. Then practice in front of a mirror or with a camera. Then try it on camera, the full performance. You know, see where you look the most confident. Where do you rush? Are you giving enough time for laughs? Then, number 7, test it on a small audience. This could be like family or friends, or you could do it for my live stream. So I could do it on here. And see what jokes land and what needs tweaking. Then go to an open mic night as an observer, not as a performer. See how comedians hold the mic. See how they handle silence or a joke that didn't land. What's the timing and energy of their delivery? then perform it an open mic night. Expect nerves. Remember, your first time won't be perfect, but that's part of the process. If a joke doesn't land, don't panic, just move on. Confidence sells a joke. And then review and refine after each performance. There's a bonus tip here, which is try the talking to yourself trick. Walk around your house casually running through the routine like you're telling a friend a funny story. Don't try and perform, just talk naturally. This helps you memorize it without sounding robotic. All a comedian needs to do is be funny, and they'll be better than most comedians right now. Whoa, what a burn. What a burn. So, is Peter Kay still touring? Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know. So, anyway, I'll talk a bit about what the routine is I've been working on. So I assume no one here has done stand-up comedy. No one. Has anyone ever wanted to try it? Has anyone attempted it? So I was trying to think of... Firstly, I was thinking about... And this might be the wrong way of starting. I was thinking about, if I was to do stand-up comedy, what kind of comedian would I be? And I would want to do social commentary. I do like quick one-liners, but that takes a lot more effort, I think. Especially when so many one-liners are already out there. So, yeah, for me, it was about storytelling. And I am someone who is really interested in people. Societal norms, all those kind of pieces. And as I mentioned at the start of this live stream, Bill Burr, I'm a massive fan of. And so I want to make sure that when I'm talking about people, I'm doing it in a way where I'm building people up, even if I'm making a joke about them. And so Kira says you'll need puns. Well, the puns is what I've been doing at the Meta Horizon thing. I've been telling puns on there. Siago says, I thought about it, nearly wrote a set once, then remembered I had horrendous stage anxiety as a musician anyway, so speaking, I'd probably just freeze up. Well, I was talking with my friend Hugh about this, saying, you know, it is a bit more difficult because when you play a song, you just play it. And then at the end of the song, you either get cheers or you don't, but kind of you're doing your thing and you just move on. Whereas with comedy, it's about the vibe, isn't it? You're going with the energy of the room. And it's something that you're never going to know until you give it a go. So my plan is that by the end of this year, I'm going to do an open mic night. Now, I'm not holding that as it has to happen, but it's an ambition. It's something I'd like to do. Dan says, oh my God, Myles, everything you're saying right now, this is what I'm doing, but with music. Well, any creative outlet, I think it works with. I had to read a script in front of people, and even that I had trouble doing. But that's why I think, you know, I do public speaking, and I'm always about winging it. But I do think there's something about honing it in and getting the messaging absolutely right. So I'll go through a bit of this with you now, of what I've been working on. So, you ready for this story? So, when I was at secondary school, well, in sixth form, so college, there was a guy in the year above me. This is not me doing stand-up, by the way. This is me just telling you the story, and then I'll sort of read what I've written. I went to school with a guy called Paul, and he was born with one ear. So he had an ear one side, and then there was just a hole on the other. But he did have a prosthetic ear that was clipped on. And this guy was bold. This guy had so much confidence, and he used it to his advantage every step of the way. And I had so much respect for him. I mean, at the time, I was a bit intimidated by him because he was a bit of a dick. But like looking back, I just felt, especially back then, people were probably a lot less kind. And so I had a lot of respect for the way he went about things. And we were talking about puns. He would often not turn up to registration. So although he was in the year above, in sixth form, we would be in the same registration. We'd be with some people in the year above just for registration. Okay, Dan says, I bet he threw that ear at people. Yeah, he did throw it at people. I haven't actually written that down in my stand-up piece, but that was definitely something. So, hey, Zinc, hope you're doing good. You've come at an interesting part of the conversation. So the pun that was done was when he didn't turn up for registration, they would say, where's Paul? And some of his mates would go, he's not here, miss. He's not here, miss. So anyway, there was something that he used to do when he came in late, and the teacher couldn't hold it against it. So this is, I'll read you what I've written as the opening, and I'm not happy with it completely. I'll tell you like where I'm critical of it. But this is sort of the start of the piece. Okay, so I put, have you ever met someone who just dominates in life? Like, it doesn't matter what hand they are dealt, this person just figures it out. Well, I went to college with a guy named Paul. Now, Paul was born with one ear. One side, full ear, other side, just an ear hole. Like someone forgot to finish building him. So like that joke, for example, I'm not sure about. Like, as I said, it's all about building up, but then it is in the context of what follows. So it's like, and so he had a prosthetic ear that clipped on. And you'd think that would make life harder for him, right? If it were me back then, when kids were even crueler, I'd be all insecure, hiding it, whispering orders at Subway so no one notices. And by the way, the delivery of me going through this is terrible. This is me just going through the script. Not Paul. Paul turned having one ear into a superpower. And not only that, he was way cooler than me. I had both ears and still spent most of high school wishing I could disappear. Meanwhile, this dude had a removable ear and walked around like he was the main character in an action movie. I didn't have half his confidence, and I had twice his ears. I'll go on to the next bit because this is the bit about registration. So first time I realised he was built differently, we're in morning registration. Everyone's there, teacher's calling names. She gets to Paul, no answer. But she knows he's at school. She's looking around, getting pissed off, and suddenly, boom. Paul kicks the door open, skipping into the room. Skipping, he did. He would skip into the room. And with zero hesitation, he goes, sorry I'm late, miss. I couldn't find my ear. And I swear to God, she just nodded. Didn't question it. Didn't call bullshit. She just took it. Meanwhile, if I was late, she'd interrogate me like I was on trial for war crimes. And this was it. This guy misplaces a body part and suddenly he gets diplomatic immunity. So yeah, this is like the bit I'm sort of writing around. So yeah, Paul is an absolute legend. And there was other stuff. There was other stuff he did. There was a time, and I've got it in here, where he punched me. Just randomly punched me. And I went, ow, why'd you do that? And he goes, because you've got one more ear than I do. What are you going to say in response to that? What are you going to say in response to that? And then, like, if he didn't do his homework at school, he would just say, sorry, miss, I was going to do it, but I lost my ear and spent the whole night looking for it. And the teacher just went, oh, okay, try harder next time. And this is the thing, I think, with stand-up comedy is, like, some of the best stories, I think, come from just real things. So yeah, he would also do stuff where, like, you'd be eating lunch, and I remember there was a guy eating lunch. He put his sandwich down. No, it was me. I was eating my lunch. I put my sandwich down on the table, and I saw something next to the sandwich, and I didn't know what it was. And then I realised it was an ear, and Paul started pushing it towards my sandwich, and yeah, just wild. And then he would be playing frisbee with it. He'd play ultimate frisbee with his ear in the. And I don't know about you. I think I'm gonna write this down. That's gonna have to be a gag, right? Him playing frisbee, and it's like, I don't know about you, but ears must be pretty pricey. Yeah. So It's all right. Hey, everybody's just joining. Everyone's just joining. We're just having an interesting conversation about someone I went to school with who had one ear, who was amazing. So yeah, so that's basically the gist of it. So at the moment, I have got, to be honest, I've got 4 pages going through all these different stories. And so yeah, I'm gonna look at it, and I'm curious to know what the refining process is, because the guide that I went through and I talked about for stand-up comedy, that was all about, once you've got the script, like once you've written it, how do you learn it? And it's about the way you perform it. But for me, it's a question of like, how do you even refine stand-up comedy? You know, the way that you say it. And obviously that's something that you get a great sense of. Because as I was reading that, there were bits in it I was like, yeah, not sure about it. So so like, for example, the line that, you know, I went to college with a guy named Paul. Now, Paul was born with one ear. One side, full ear. Other side, just an ear hole. Like, that's kind of funny because it's kind of like, it's a drastic difference. But they're like someone forgot to finish building him. I don't know if that works, even though the premise is he's built differently from me. And the whole point is that he's built better than me because he had confidence that I didn't have. So yeah, it's an interesting process, having never written a comedy bit before, and I kind of like it because it's just going to build up with the Bill Burr-esque-ness of just being constantly like, how the fuck did this even happen? Because here, like the homework bit, for example. Oh my God, Canic tunes. Unbelievable. Did not find him a bit irritating. That is excellent. That is excellent. I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. So yeah, the homework scam bit, the bit I've got written there is as follows. It is, and then I find out this dude is running a whole scam with his ear. Anytime he forgot his homework, sorry miss, I was going to do it, but I lost my ear and spent the whole night looking for it. Like, what? I forgot my homework once and I got a full investigation. I had to lie, forge evidence, cry a little. Paul just says one sentence and suddenly he's the victim. Like, what's the teacher supposed to say? Well, Paul, maybe you should have prioritised algebra over reconstructing your own head. Nope, she just bought it. You know what I learned? I was playing life on hard mode. So, you know, I think that's a good bit. I like what's the teacher supposed to say? Well, Paul, maybe you should have prioritised algebra over reconstructing your own head. It's funny. But as I said, it's about not punching down, and it's about building up, and that's something I really respect. Bill Burr's really good at doing with his stand-up comedy. If you've never seen his stand-up comedy Paper Tiger, it's at the Royal Albert Hall. It takes place. It's on Netflix. It's a masterclass. It's one of my all-time favourite stand-ups, so I highly, highly recommend it. But yeah, what did people make of that, of what they've heard so far? I feel like I could just go through all of this. I'm just reading through. The next part, you know, I told you about him punching me. So that part was, because that's the difference between me and Paul. Bill Burr, a bit mid. Outrageous. Get out. Get out. Look, comedy is a preference. Oh, God. Bill Burr talking about the fires recently was amazing. So I've got here, because that's the difference between me and Paul. I was out here playing by the rules, scared of authority, trying to get through life without getting noticed. Paul was just out there thriving, outnumbered by ears, and still the alpha. One time between classes, he just randomly punched me in the arm. I go, ow, dude, what the hell? And this psycho, without missing a beat, just deadpan stares at me and goes, because you have one more ear than I do. And the worst part is, I respected that. I was like, yeah, that's fair. I accept this. Like, how do you argue with that? I couldn't be mad. This dude had been living at a deficit. It was time to collect. I just sat there thinking, Jesus Christ, man, I have been doing nothing with my advantages. Thank you. You can probably tell, you can probably hear the Bill Burr aspects in this. I mean, you know, I'm not going to put on a Bill Burr accent, but it is that like constant sense of why is this happening? Like, what am I doing wrong? The Philly rant. Yeah, the people that don't know that, Bill Burr went on stage and it was like a series of comedians, right? And they were heckling everyone before him. And so he then went on and he just took on the crowd, didn't he? They just kept booing and he just kept going at them again and again. Talking through this out loud is actually helping me thinking about the writing process, I have to admit. And I trust your sense of humour because you find me funny normally, so that's what it is. So the sandwich story I've got here. And he just used it for everything. One time at lunch, we're eating, minding our own business. I put my sandwich down, look away for 2 seconds, and then when looking back, right next to the sandwich is this weird looking thing. My brain started shutting down. Like, that is not mine. And that is not food. Slowly I looked up, and there's Paul, just grinning. And then without a word, he starts pushing his ear towards the sandwich, like he's offering it up, like some ancient sacrifice. And the guy's just sitting there, and I'm just sitting there. I wrote it about the guy, but then I realised it actually happened to me. Traumatic experience. And I was just sitting there like, am I supposed to, do I have to eat this? I can't explain it, but Paul just had this power over people, or maybe just had this power over me. Like, if he'd actually handed me his ear, I would have taken it. Yeah, thank you, Paul. I will cherish this always. So, yeah. I'm. You know, I think there's some good stuff in here. I need to iterate it. But for saying that was done on Saturday night at 1 a.m, I think it's a good start. Dave Chappelle did an excellent Saturday night live monologue, and I feel very conflicted about Dave Chappelle. I'm a massive fan of Dave Chappelle, but a lot of his specials have done the whole boomer, I'm getting cancelled, you know, while getting paid millions from Netflix, and it's just like, it's same with Ricky Gervais. And Ricky Gervais I've worked with in the past, and like, there's a lot of his stuff I like. I don't really, I find his new stuff very cringe. And I loved all his Golden Globe stuff. And pieces like that. But again, comedy is subjective. Stock ear syndrome. Man. What was the other pun that was done earlier? Irritated. Man. It's one of those things like, I think if I got a good script done and I learnt it, I think I could be good at stand-up comedy, but that's what anyone that gives it a go thinks. But for me, it's like, I'm not going into this blind. Like, I've done a lot of public speaking. I've done a lot of freestyle public speaking where I just have to speak. I've done stuff where I've had to just give a talk for 20 minutes. I've given 90-minute talks before without any notes. So that definitely gives me... Chappelle and Gervais are definitely more puncher-downers. Ricky Gervais especially. Dave Chappelle, again, he is in like his Netflix specials and stuff, but like you look at his SNL one he did, it was excellent. But yeah. I'm going to make sure this script gets earmarked. I said get earmarked. Anyway. Use that one. My teacher made that joke when her earlobe was bitten off. What's this ear? Yeah. Well, they used to say, where's Paul? He's not here, miss. He's not here. Yeah. George Carlin, look at him talking about the bankers, talking about oligarchy. Something we could talk about, actually, with everything going on in the world at the moment. We should just do a poll on whether or not Elon Musk was giving a Nazi salute. Unbelievable, man. Absolutely unbelievable what's going on in the world right now. Especially when you think Elon Musk is the one that's building all these robots. Thank you very much. I'm going to give it a shot. This week I've got a lot going on at the moment, so I don't really have time. But basically, after this week, I should be in a good place, and then I'm going to spend some free time working on this. I might work on this at the weekend and just play around with it. And the thing about creative processes is that it's not that you just designate the time. Walking away and coming back to it gives you a freshness. Going for a walk while you're thinking about things, while the blood is flowing. People talk about how their best ideas sometimes come to them when they're in the shower. When you're like attacking something and you're trying to do it, that's when you're likely to force stuff out. Otherwise, it's good to kind of like let things come up organically. And thank you very much, Mojo, with the 1 membership. Who got lucky? Time to Play VR. Welcome to the membership. So yeah. Oh yeah, Greenland is a NATO protected territory. He wants to leave NATO, right? That would be funny. That would be money. Cool. All right. Myles, is your email available? Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel. It's contact@mylesdyer.com. That is where all emails go, and I do my best to get through them all. Cool. All right, people. Well, we are coming to the top of the hour, so I just want to say a massive, massive thank you to everyone for tuning in. I thought we were going to have a bit more backwards and forwards and hearing lots of people's experiences of doing stand-up comedy, but it seems like it's something that not a lot of people have done, which is totally cool. But going through this was kind of cool, and telling you my thought processes. But yeah, if you get the Meta Horizon app, if you're someone who's okay with getting it, because you can jump into these worlds on mobile. I'm going to be jumping on it next. So what I would say is, in the next 15 minutes, so I'm going to jump on at 10 past the hour. But in the meantime, download the Meta Horizon app and then add me. This is it here. My username is just Myles Dyer. There you go. Look at those shoes. Jeans. Look at that little... I'm dressed as a dinosaur now. I unlocked a dinosaur costume. But yeah, download Meta Horizon. We could go into the stand-up area. Let's do that. So basically, if you add me, when I go on in 15 minutes, I will have it set, not only that I'll appear online, but you can click join me, and it will teleport you to wherever I am in the metaverse. And so, yeah, you can do it on your phone. So for those that are wondering, what is the app? It looks like this. It's, if I do it on the Apple Store, it's not going to load. How do I load it in the browser? Open link. There we go. So yeah, this is what the app looks like. So yeah, check it out. Tiago, that is amazing to hear. Huge good news. Mrs. finished her chemo today. Doctors are happy she's very likely cancer-free. They'll baseline her for 2 years. After that, very unlikely to ever come back. That's so good to hear. Much love to all of you, Tiago. That's a horrible thing to go through, but thank goodness for medicine. All right, people. Here we go. Another one. Thank you, Mojo. Another membership, and this one goes out to Lex. So welcome, Lex. Welcome. Yeah, lots of love. Well, on that note, we are going to finish on Vitamin G, where we take a moment every week to think about what we're grateful for. So yeah. What am I going to talk about? I'm really grateful for my friend Hugh. As I said, took me to Manchester last weekend. Had an amazing time together. It was just a really good weekend. It was nice to get away. I haven't had much of a social life. I said this was the year it's going to happen, but January has just been rammed, and yeah, it's not been going as well as I'd like it to. So yeah, it really meant a lot, and it was a really good weekend. So yeah, to friendships, that's always really good. Siago says it's been a bit hellish for a while now. It's a huge one for sure. Absolutely. Kira Cat Lady says, I'm officially entrusted with a part of the store now. Woo! The new guys was told to refer to me because I'm in charge. That's awesome to hear. Canik Tune says, I'm grateful for central heating. Oh my goodness, yeah, but the minus 17 degrees, that is absolutely chilling to hear. Cool. Any more? Vitamin G's. Who's going to jump into Meta Horizons in 10 minutes time? If so, type 1 in the chat now. And as I said, if you don't have a VR headset or a Quest headset, you can still join on mobile, whether you got Android or Apple. And what you do is you just add me, Myles Dyer, at Myles Dyer, and then on your list, you'll then be able to click join. It's like a green icon with a portal. Or it might be a blue icon on the phone. But you click join next to my name, and then you will be in the same place as me. And then you can talk on your phone to me directly in there. Dominic says, Vitamin G. Vitamin G for Vitamin G is Vitamin G-ish. I love it. Siago says, because I also might have gotten myself a new guitar on Klarna, and it's flipping lovely. That's good to hear. Mojo says, my Vitamin G, noise cancelling headphones to let me listen to music and sort out my thoughts. Good to block out the world for a while with some good tunes. That's awesome. Callie says, I'll give it to Agnes and Richard, who ran a group I participated in yesterday. Nice. Lots and lots of positivity here. This is what we like to see. No one's typed 1 in the chat, so I assume no one's coming to the Metaverse with me after the show. Alrighty then. It will just be me in the comedy club by myself. Not sure if I can join. We'll see if I can install the Meta Horizon thing. Yeah, even if you install it tonight, and then you'll get notifications when I'm online and in there. But yeah, it's worth trying out for sure. Mojo, doing them by the individual pieces. Thank you very much. And Taddy P, come to the dark side, have cookies. I love that. Well done, you're a membership. Chris says, Vitamin G, Blue Prosecco. I've never heard of Blue Prosecco. Is that a euphemism for something? What is it? Leap says, you think you're going to join? Awesome. Come cry in the virtual club with us. Come cry. Yeah, you can get it on Android. Here we are. Meta Horizon on the Android store as well. So there you go. Yeah, a lot of you say you need to download it. Cool. Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's what I'm saying. Even if you don't join now, just download it, create your character, check it out. There's lots of interesting worlds in there and activities you can do, and you can interact with people that are playing in VR. And yeah, check out the comedy place. Just go your times, and then maybe next week you can tell me your experiences. Maybe if there's something on a more friendly time zone to you, you might have gone to an actual comedy show there, and you can let me know what it's like. But yeah, I'll be there in, I say 10 minutes. I said that like 5 minutes ago. 10 minutes from now, and I'm already getting requests coming in. Followers, here we go. Ta-da! I don't think I need to accept any. I look horrific with my dinosaur costume on, which I've unlocked just so I can wear it at a work meeting on Friday. All right, people, I'm going to wrap it up there. Massive thank you to all of you. Really appreciate you. And yeah, let me know in the comments section afterwards if you got any tips. If you know anyone that's ever done stand-up comedy, what do you look for in a stand-up comedian? What do you think makes a good joke or stand-up routine? And yeah, it'll be something that I will properly try out in the coming weeks in the virtual space, and then I'll do it for real. All right. Much love, everybody. Love, respect, empathy, and adios. Till next time. Bye-bye, everyone. And for those of you that are going to jump into Horizon Worlds, I will see you in 10 minutes. Bye-bye.
Thought I saw you on the road. I was chasing sunsets all alone. The darkness faded, painting goodbye, big sky. Far away, but dreaming of your ocean eyes. Thought I saw you on the road. I was chasing sunsets all alone. The darkness faded, painting goodbye, big sky. Far away, but dreaming of your ocean eyes. Thought I saw you on the road. I was chasing sunsets all alone. The darkness faded, painting goodbye, big sky. Far away, but dreaming of your ocean eyes.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Oh, I felt so much better doing this show. I've been so miserable this week. I really have. But yeah, you guys always make me feel better. I really appreciate you. And yeah, good chatting. Next week will be an open Q&A. Can't believe we're there already. And yeah, I will see you. Anyone that's getting Horizon Worlds now, give me 8 minutes. So 20 minutes past the hour. All right? Okay. And thank you, Mojo. Appreciate it. Have a good one, everyone. Have a wonderful week.